Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 171 based on novel. So let's start. In Ulon City, 3 low-level primordial life armies were already in despair under the formation's cover. They were dying in batches under the invisible curse killing. After their protective layers were penetrated by the chaos fog, the casualties became even more severe. No. Luo Feng, Divine Emperor, spare us. We are just trying to survive. Spare us. These low-level primordial lives, no longer able to threaten, one by one begged for mercy. However, watching this scene, Luo Feng did not show the slightest mercy. Since the era of the primordial cosmos, Luo Feng had experienced numerous wars between races. The enemy's pleas for mercy could not shake him in the slightest. You want me to spare you, but who spared the 16 million cultivators who died? Luo Feng thought to himself. Those over 16 million cultivators were slaughtered with no power to resist. These innate primordial lives, born to break out of the braided cage. Luo Feng sighed secretly. Even though they are the weakest low-level primordial lives, forming several armies, they can still slaughter cultivators at will. Cultivators are generally weaker than innate primordial lives. Even in the infinite primordial space, the cultivator camp is weaker than the innate primordial life camp. Seniors like Senior Yuan and Senior Jin stood at the forefront, shielding the entire cultivator camp from the wind and rain. No need to think too much. Even I haven't broken out of the braided cage yet, so what use is thinking so much? Luo Feng laughed at himself, flipping his hand to collect all the corpses of the low-level primordial life army in front of him. He is still too weak now. Any high-level primordial life might be able to seriously pollute him with just one look, like the Yuan Xiong Palace Master. Still too weak? After Luo Feng collected the corpses left by the 3 armies, some of the elders were somewhat envious, but none dared to question. The City Lord's formation has dramatically increased in power, making it impossible for these low-level primordial life armies to escape. The City Lord solo formation setting is several times stronger than what our 300+ elders combined could do. Even 1,000 elders probably couldn't match the City Lord. The elders were all very aware. A city like Ulon City, the core formation layer has a maximum of 1,000 blank layers, including the City Lord, Hall Masters, and the elders. So the limit for elder positions is just over 900. Of course, the resources and benefits of a city cannot attract that many elders. If there were too many elders, the share for each would be too small. In the entire 9 Rivers Sacred Realm, 35 cities, besides the Yuan Xiong Palace Master, only 2 others mastered a half-primordial level path, and they just sent avatars to stay, rarely taking action. Luo Feng collected the many corpses of the 3 low-level primordial life armies and slightly estimated the value, unable to help but marvel. At this level, they indeed look down on the benefits the City Lord position brings. The resources allocated to the City Lord of Ulon City were indeed the most. But does the Yuan Xiong Palace Master care? At his pinnacle, the Yuan Xiong Palace Master often hunted super limit level and Divine Emperor perfection level beings. With the long years of accumulation, his resources were naturally vast, and the wealth far exceeded the Wei Yang Palace Master and Master Gai Dao. Those at the same level as the Yuan Xiong Palace Master, which one is not extremely wealthy. Due to the war in Ulon City, Luo Feng harvested a great deal of spoils of war rapidly and became extremely wealthy, quickly realizing that the share of resources from Ulon City was indeed not very tempting. In the world of cultivators, the ability to obtain resources is vastly different across levels. Luo Feng also understood the mindset of the Yuan Xiong Palace Master more. The formations in Ulon City all retracted, and the chaos fog between heaven and earth also dissipated. Is the war over? The cultivators in the city were somewhat uneasy. They carefully observed all directions through their cave mansion formations but could no longer see any low-level primordial lives. It seems to be over. There hasn't been any significant commotion in Ulon City either. Emperor Qing, Emperor Ming, and Di Fu were also observing. Suddenly, All cultivators of Ulon City. A voice echoed throughout the city, I am Luo Feng, the new city lord of Ulon City. From now on, all cultivators can freely leave the cave mansions. Ulon City is back to normal, and there is no need to worry about those low-level primordial lives anymore. A few simple sentences echoed in every corner of Ulon City, stirring excitement among the cultivators in the city. We won. The war was won. Luo Feng? The city lord of Ulon City? Our Ulon City always had no city lord before. Now there's a city lord. The cultivators in the city were excited and celebrating, though also quite curious. As the city builder, the Yuan Xiong Palace Master never took on the title of City Lord due to severe soul pollution, having long discreetly spread word of wanting to choose a city lord for Ulon City. This was also the reason for Wei Yan Palace Master's ambitiousness. No matter who becomes the city lord, as long as they can protect Ulon City, they are a good city lord. Many cultivators came out of their cave mansions. The sky over Ulon City still had colorful formations providing protection, with light rain falling as if washing away the city's original fear, ferocity, and madness, restoring everything to peace. We are still alive. The city was broken, but we still won and survived. Many cultivators felt a sense of emotion. They all understood that with the city broken, such low casualties were incredibly rare. This new city lord must be quite extraordinary. We don't know yet what strength this city lord Luo Feng possesses. Many cultivators were curious, not knowing the detailed situation of the war or Luo Feng's strength. But in a critical moment, taking over as city lord and protecting the vast majority of cultivators in Ulon City made the cultivators very grateful and supportive of this city lord. Life in Ulon City began to return to normal, with the Elder Hall overseeing the repairs in areas damaged by the war. This war was stirred up by those super limit levels. Luo Feng's strongest avatar had already quietly left the city. Earlier, when the 4 super limit levels fled, Luo Feng had arranged for his avatar to follow them from afar. Now it was time to harvest them one by one. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In the Elder Hall of Ulon City, Luo Feng sat in the main seat, with the Yuan Xiong Palace Master sitting beside him. The surrounding elders were all quite excited, very satisfied with the outcome of this battle. City Lord. Suddenly, the Insect Nest Master, in the form of a woman, stepped forward from the crowd of elders. Insect Nest Master. Luo Feng looked at her, knowing her information and disliking her. This kind of destroyer demon type was, in Luo Feng's judgment, one of those to-be-killed categories. Unfortunately, the opponent was a powerhouse from the source world, so Luo Feng couldn't completely kill her. City Lord. The Insect Nest Master smiled slightly. Earlier, I offended the City Lord. I also know that I, this kind of cultivator, am not liked by the City Lord. I am aware of my situation. This war is over, and while defending the city, I gave my all without any slack. Now that the work is done, I am willing to offer all my resources in Ulon City to the City Lord. As for myself, I will forever leave the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm. The Insect Nest Master smiled slightly, and after saying this, her body naturally dissipated. Her avatars in the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm all self-destructed, taking no treasures or resources. Luo Feng was slightly surprised to see this scene. The Insect Nest Master had devoured countless souls, her cultivation path evil and terrifying, and Luo Feng indeed disliked her. But at this moment, the Insect Nest Master had first obediently defended the city, then relinquished all, and finally left the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm completely, surprising Luo Feng with her decisiveness. See a thnovelfire.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. To become such a terrifying demon, she is indeed remarkable. Luo Feng thought. City Lord, I too am willing to offer all my resources in Ulon City to the City Lord and, in the future, will forever leave the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm. The Master of the Shadow Tower also stood up and bowed slightly. It is a fortune for me, Wan Ying, to know the City Lord. I too will forever leave the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm. The Master of Deceit Workshop also stood up and bowed slightly. I believe the City Lord does not wish for raiding forces to continue existing in Ulon City. The Master of the Shadow Tower and the Master of Deceit Workshop both self-destructed their avatars, choosing to leave the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm forever. At their level, a simple observation could confirm Luo Feng's way of doing things. Previously serving as the Heaven Patrol Palace Commander, Luo Feng did not wish to oppress any cultivators and even fully protected as many cultivators as possible while defending the city. Such a city lord could not tolerate these raiding forces. The other two are fine, but the Master of Deceit Workshop is quite promising. The Yuan Xiong Palace Master watched the scene and said, "A little restraint and Deceit Workshop's actions will be much more measured." His character was different from Luo Feng's. He could tolerate those demons and raiders. Cultivators come from different worlds and have different growth environments. Yuan Xiong Palace Master said, "Some worlds force cultivators to become demons. Tolerate different types of cultivators a little. After all, such cultivators are plentiful." The Yuan Xiong Palace Master looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng smiled, "Plentiful? I cannot manage so many. But in Ulon City, there's no need for raiding and stealing forces." His capabilities were limited. But he naturally had to manage within his purview. What should be killed, and what should be driven away should be driven away. The original world's environment forced them into becoming demons. But the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm did not force them. Since Luo Feng decided to be this city lord, he would not tolerate these forces in his city. Luo Feng's words made the surrounding elders exchange glances. They all understood that Luo Feng's influence would far exceed the previous three Hall Masters. Because he alone could destroy all resistance forces in the city. So when Luo Feng said it, it meant that Ulon City would no longer have any soil for the survival of raiding and stealing forces. This city lord Luo's character is much stronger than the previous three Hall Masters. The previous three Hall Masters always needed to consider the elders. But this city lord Luo, despite seeming to have a good temper, when he decides something, no elder can oppose it. The elders, from just a few words by Luo Feng, felt that unstoppable will. "Your ambition is much stronger than mine." The Yuan Xiong Palace Master looked and praised. However, individual strength is ultimately limited. Even if one breaks out of the braided cage, it's difficult to change much. Luo Feng smiled, saying nothing more. Individual strength is ultimately limited? That's just because the cultivation isn't strong enough. Oh, right. The Yuan Xiong Palace Master suddenly recalled, "I sought aid from the Dark Sacred Realm, and they sent a cultivation team. The team is still on its way. I need to contact them first." Only a few breaths of time. This cultivation team has arrived in the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm. The Yuan Xiong Palace Master looked up at Luo Feng in surprise, and they are heading toward Ulon City. They will probably arrive in less than half a day. The emergence of a super-limit level enchanting heartworm poses too great of a threat, said Yuan Xiong Palace Master. The key reason for the fall of Ulon City this time is precisely that super-limit level worm. Luo Feng agreed. The possibility of the city being breached from the outside was very slim. Infiltrating from the inside? That would require a super-limit level entity capable of stealth. The deaths and escape of Wei Yan Palace Master and Gai Dao Palace Master were consequences of that super-limit level enchanting heartworm. So this cultivator team will still head to Ulon City. Using the causality between us and the enchanting heartworm, they will ascertain its whereabouts, said Yuan Xiong Palace Master. It must be eliminated as soon as possible. Luo Feng smiled faintly. My avatar is already pursuing that enchanting heartworm. It's likely almost done. Yuan Xiong Palace Master was briefly stunned and then smiled. Given Luo Feng's ability to suppress a 4-on-1 fight, chasing down a super-limit level enchanting heartworm would indeed not be difficult. Even if you kill that super-limit level enchanting heartworm, I guess this cultivator team will still make a trip to Ulon City, said Yuan Xiong Palace Master. Oh. Luo Feng was somewhat surprised. They are probably much more interested in you than in the enchanting heartworm, said Yuan Xiong Palace Master with a slight smile, fully understanding the thoughts of beings at their level. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The world was vast. The super limit level enchanting heartworm became illusory and was fleeing at high speed. It's over. Though the world was vast, there was desperation in the heart of this super limit level enchanting heartworm. The subworms I dispersed have all been killed by Luophone's avatar. He is tracking me from behind, and I can't shake him off. It had no choice. When it came to escape speed, its spiritual body, though fast, could not match Luophone, who could teleport short distances through space. Its subworm's strength was instantly wiped out in the face of Luophone's avatar. Only the mother worm could withstand Luophone's pursuit. As soon as he brings the avatar with the secret treasure, I'm doomed. At this moment, it felt utterly powerless. Despite sensing the enemy following closely behind, it had no way out. The surrounding low-level primordial life army, the few that survived, couldn't stop Luophone either. I knew there was only one chance to launch a surprise attack. Once it failed, it was over. Not good. Its heart trembled. It sensed the Luophone behind it accelerating, quickly closing the distance between them. It stopped fleeing since the speed gap was too significant, and it couldn't escape. Swoosh! From a distance, it saw a figure in black with black hair emerge from the rift in the heavens, approaching quickly. Super limit level enchanting heartworm. Luophone looked at it. Luophone, is this your strongest avatar? The enchanting heartworm speculated. Luophone nodded. Can you spare my life? The enchanting heartworm looked at Luophone. I was captured and brought to the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm by terrifying beings among you cultivators. Everything I did was because of their coercion. Luophone looked at it, expressionless, and extended his finger. Luophone's finger caused the heavens to split apart. It pierced through the space, appearing instantly in front of the enchanting heartworm. Luophone's index finger turned into a furry claw, instantly penetrating the worm's body, and struck its life core. Buzz! As Luophone struck, an invisible attack hit his soul, confusing his senses. No hesitation at all? Even in its moment of death, the enchanting heartworm was unwilling. Its plea was meant to waver Luophone's resolve, combined with a secret technique to affect Luophone's perception. If Luophone had wavered, under the influence of the secret technique, he might have genuinely thought, this enchanting heartworm is innocent and pitiful, there's no need to kill it. The innate secret technique, enchanting heart, could affect one's thoughts to some extent. But Luophone didn't waver in the slightest, giving it no chance. Phew. After killing the enchanting heartworm, Luophone waved and stored away its corpse. Compassion? Luophone's eyes were cold. Luophone knew very well when to show compassion. Being compassionate to every target during life-and-death battles was incredibly foolish. Cultivators and innate primordial life were two opposing factions, both seeking the total annihilation of the other. Some of the terrifying beings among innate primordial life even wanted to devour the source world. So the two factions were absolutely opposed to each other. Absolute opposites, two factions that sought to obliterate each other. If there was compassion here, one wouldn't have reached Luophone's current level through cultivation. Many cultivators have died at the hands of the enchanting heartworm. After storing the worm's corpse, Luophone discovered the many spoils of war it carried, likely from Wei Yang Palace Master and some elders. With the enchanting heartworm dealt with, the other three will be easier. Luophone turned to look in three other directions. He had also sent avatars to track the three remaining super limit levels. The vast endless blood sea enveloped the expansive land, as well as the black, serpentine mountain-like creature within. Luophone, I pose no threat to you anymore, why not spare me a shred of vitality? The black serpentine mountain creature roared, struggling, but its resistance weakened under the suppression of the blood sea formation. Actions have consequences. After many attempts, the giant claw within the blood sea finally found and shattered its life core within the enormous body. This colossal mountain-like being had the strongest physical body among the four super limit levels. Die? Amidst the blood sea, a massive lightning burst forth, its force shaking the heavens and even breaking through the blood sea, exploding completely. The blood sea condensed into Luofeng's figure. Dead. Luofeng was puzzled. The biomimetic destruction eye on his forehead opened, carefully observing all traces of causality. The causality between himself and this thunderbolt tentacle creature became extremely weak, but it still existed. A trace of causality remains. It hasn't completely perished. Its current position, I faintly feel, is very far away. It fluctuates and is impossible to pinpoint precisely. Luofeng was astonished. The distance seemed as far as the edge of the sky. And there were multiple layers of concealment, making the remaining thread of the causality line blurry and unattainable. This thunderbolt tentacle creature likely had a fallback plan before the war, Luofeng thought. Now, activating that plan, this kind of life-saving measure, I wonder which race it belongs to. From Divine Emperor perfection level to superlimit level. Some low-level primordial life forms change during breakthrough and gain talent abilities that the leader level lacks, making it hard for cultivators to identify their original race. Forget it. Luofeng gave up. The Nine Rivers Sacred Realm has several superlimit levels. Since it's impossible to track, Luofeng didn't dwell on it. Leave it to future cultivators to handle. Luofeng continued his pursuit of the final bird of destruction. The bird of destruction could transform into an endless aura of destruction. But all its aura was suppressed into the blood sea eye within the endless blood sea. The blood sea eye, residing within Luofeng's secret treasure, undying heart, trapped the bird of destruction within, rendering it inescapable. Something is odd. Luofeng looked into the undying heart, observing the boundless aura of destruction within the blood sea eye. A superlimit level being has completely turned into a massive aura. Its body was the hardest to annihilate, enduring dozens of my claws and still remaining strong. Luofeng could wipe out the bird of destruction with hundreds of claws, but he wasn't in a hurry. Its talent in the destruction path is interesting. Luofeng, in human form, temporarily suppressed the bird of destruction within the undying heart's blood sea eye. I'll study its destruction path first. After that, I'll destroy it. Luofeng thought. He had already reached the late stage of Divine Emperor life and death Tao. Naturally, he would begin attempting to reach the half-primordial level in life and destruction paths. This bird of destruction was valuable for comprehension. Swoosh! Luofeng began his journey back. The battle at Ulon city involved 5 superlimit levels, 1 killed inside the city, 3 outside the city. The thunderbolt tentacle creature might still be alive. Asterisk 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 asterisk. A large, ancient ship flew through the vastness of the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, moving at great speed. Inside the ship, 3 figures sat together, chatting leisurely. Latest news. A winged woman with pristine white wings sat there, smiling. Yuan Xiong said the new city lord of Ulon City, Luofeng, has killed that superlimit level enchanting heartworm. Looks like our mission is complete, an elder flipping through a book before him said with a smile. Even though we didn't act, since we took the mission and the superlimit level enchanting heartworm died within 3 days, we still get half the battle merit. Regardless of the reason, if the target died within 3 days, their team would receive at least some merit. If the target died after 3 days and wasn't their doing, they would get no merit. This Luofeng is quite formidable, making a critical breakthrough, saving the city from its downfall, remarked a young man in a red robe. I heard he was able to hold his own against 4 superlimit levels. His strength surpasses mine. I couldn't do that. Battling for superlimit levels, I could at most maintain a balance, the elder said. Very impressive, the winged woman exclaimed in admiration. He just broke through and is already this strong. He hasn't even been to the Dark Sacred Realm yet. Without training in the Dark Sacred Realm and without reaping the benefits of its unique resources, he's already this powerful, the elder said in awe. If he goes to the Dark Sacred Realm, he might reach the invincible level. Every invincible level being gets taken in by Senior Yuan and the others, the young man in the red robe said enviously. It's said that after being guided at the invincible level, they often break free from the braided cage. That's another realm of existence. The elder also showed envy. They were beings who had mastered 2 half-primordial level paths, their cultivation extremely advanced, yet they couldn't claim invincibility and didn't qualify for guidance from Senior Yuan and the others. Are you returning? The winged woman smiled. I plan to go to Ulon City to meet this Luo Feng. If he becomes invincible, there might not be an opportunity to meet him. Not having visited the dark sacred realm yet being this strong, is worth meeting. Both the elder and the young man in a red robe nodded. This video will end here.